Good evening. No question about it. While we don't have the final results yet, yesterday's midterm elections turned out far better than people had expected, and you made that happen. Thank you. First, let me give a shout out to all those who came out and voted. Voter turnout was high, especially in some battleground states like Pennsylvania. Without that kind of citizen participation and voter turnout, John Fetterman would not have been elected to the U.S. Senate. Further, on a personal note, let me thank the over 14,000 people who attended the 19 rallies that we recently held in Oregon, California, Nevada, Texas, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. Turnout was great and the energy level was high. Let me especially thank the young people who overwhelmingly came out to vote, not just for women's rights and gay rights and environmental justice and to protect our democracy, but who also understand that we must have an economy and a government that works for all of us, not just the 1%. While the turnout among young people is still not as high as we would like, there is no doubt that young people played a decisive role in this election. Young voters in Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, and Arizona supported Democrats by over 70%, landslide proportions, and played a decisive role in electing senators, members of Congress, governors, and members of the legislature. If there's anything that gives me hope about the future of our country, it is that our younger generation is the most progressive generation in history. This is a generation that has fought racism, sexism, homophobia, xenophobia, and bigotry of all kinds. In America and throughout the world, young people have also been leaders in the fight against climate change and the need to take on the greed and irresponsibility of the fossil fuel industry. God knows that there are a lot of important issues out there. The issue of women's right to control their own body, the issue of the attacks on the very foundation of our democracy by right-wing extremists, the issue of gun safety, and many others. But at a time of massive wealth and income inequality, let me also thank working-class voters and union voters for standing up against corporate greed and voting for candidates who have the guts to stand up to the moneyed and powerful interests. I was happy to see that in the last few weeks of this campaign, many candidates made it clear that they were prepared to take on Republicans who want to give huge tax breaks to the wealthiest people in our country and then cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. And I thank all of those candidates who raised that very, very important set of issues. Let me also mention that last night was a great night for progressive candidates. Despite the huge amount of money spent by billionaires and their super PACs against us in support of right-wing politicians, there will now be more strong progressives in the U.S. House than ever before in modern history. And let me just name a few of them. Let me take this opportunity to congratulate Summer Lee on her resounding, strong victory in Pennsylvania's 12th district. Summer ran a great grassroots campaign and withstood an onslaught of outside money from billionaires. She will be a great congresswoman from Pittsburgh for the working families of our country. Congratulations also to Becca Balint on her historic win. Becca will be the first woman ever elected from my own state of Vermont to the U.S. Congress, and I look forward to working with her on behalf of Vermont's families. Texas, thank you very much for sending Greg Casar to the U.S. Congress. I know Greg well enough to know that he will be a great leader in Congress, and I want to congratulate him on his great victory. Congratulations to Jasmine Crockett on her victory last night in the 30th District of Texas. Jasmine will be a much-needed voice for voting rights and for an economy that represents the needs of working families in Texas and throughout our country. I also want to congratulate Jonathan Jackson, an old friend of mine, on his victory in the 1st District of Illinois. Jonathan understands the need for racial justice in this country and for the need to create an economy that works for all. Congratulations to Delia Ramirez on her win last night. She has been a champion of working families and immigrants in Illinois, and I know that she will continue her fight for them in Congress. Congratulations to Val Hoyle on her win in Oregon last night. Val knows what it means to stand up for working people and fight for raising the minimum wage, passing paid sick and medical leave, and for workers' rights. And I very much look forward to working with Val in Washington. And last but not least, congratulations to Maxwell Frost on his historic victory in Florida's 10th District. Maxwell will be the first member of Gen Z elected to Congress, and I want to congratulate him on his historic victory. Now, I would not be telling you the truth if I told you that we won everything last night. We certainly did not. Some excellent progressive candidates lost, and we are still not sure at this moment whether Democrats will be controlling the Senate and even possibly the House. But no matter what happens in that regard, tonight I am asking you to please stay engaged. Please continue fighting for justice, economic justice, social justice, racial justice, and environmental justice. Last night, 58% of the electorate in the red state of Nebraska voted to increase the minimum wage to $15 an hour. With your help, we can and must do the same thing in Washington for every worker in America. Raise the minimum wage to a living wage. Last night, a majority in the red state of Missouri voted yes to legalize marijuana. With your help, we can and must legalize marijuana in every state in our country. Last night, a majority in the red states of Kentucky and Montana joined the red state of Kansas in voting against ballot initiatives to ban abortion. With your help, we will codify Roe v. Wade and make abortion legal in every state in America. Last night, we beat back some very dark forces, and you made that happen. That's what happens when people stand up and fight back. But needless to say, the struggle is far, far from over. There is an enormous amount of work yet to be done. Let's do it together, and thank you all for what you're doing. Take care.